It's a little bit of an eye test. You just see the focus, you see the energy level. You just watch it, the execution. You see it in practice. You can't overreact one way or the other. You have to continue to be consistent. But that's what we did. That was the message that we just had on coming off the field. I thought it was a solid week of practice. But if you want to be a championship level team, you have to bring it every single week, and that means battling every week the ability to be consistent. Not start to cut corners. That's kind of the human element. Is like, well, let me see if I can get away with not having this meal or going to bed a little bit later, or maybe not doing this much film work or whatever those things are. And if we want to get to where we need to be, we have to be consistent. And we know this is going to be a big challenge. We know it's going to be rocking there. They have a very good team. They're well coached. So we have to play our best football. And our goal is to play our best football at the end of the season. And we've got to show up and play consistent football the way that, I think we have this year. We have been building, we have been growing. But certainly, if we're a championship level team like we expect to be, then we got to play really good football, and we want to play our best football on Saturday night. This isn't just like, let's go try to win a game. Like, we got to play our best football that we played all season and in all three phases.
Over here, Tim May on 3, Letterman Road. We've got Kenyatta Jackson on the North 20.
Yeah, Ryan, is there a sense right now after this practice that you're going to have a full complement of players on Saturday? How much does that help your planning for one of another?
Yeah. Got a bunch of guys back, which is great. When you say full, I mean, there'll still be some different things here and there. But no, it certainly does help. And, it's hard when you go through a week and you're not quite sure. Yeah, because, you put things in, take things out. But we feel like we've had a good week of practice. We're going to get some guys back this week, which we feel great about. And it has been a solid week of practice coming off the field. So the pads are off here. Going to have a great Thursday. But yeah, looking forward to getting some guys back into the fold.
Austin Ward, the podcast.
Don't, because every minute we have, we're trying. Yeah, I don't, once I start getting into like who practice, who doesn't, it's hard for me. But those guys have all, had good weeks, and, we're expecting those guys to be available for sure. Yeah.
Any other questions here? Over here, Cameron Teague Robinson, the Athletic.
Brian, Tyler has mentioned a big part of his production this year has been his growth and focus from where he got to freshman year to now. Yeah. How much have you seen his maturation process grow, and how much does that help on the field?
Well, we were talking about it coming off the field last Thursday, was that when, I think I've told the story before, but on our way to the spring game, his freshman year, he's like, man, I can't wait to go to the game. We were on the bus going over. I said, what do you mean? He said, I've never seen a stadium before. When we recruited him, it was during COVID. And so these guys didn't play a lot of football. He really didn't play much, his last couple of years. So, those guys were a little bit behind in their maturation process, but he came in right away. You could see the athleticism, you could see the ability, and he's really embraced, what we're doing here. And you're seeing him play his best football right now. And again, I still think he's got room to grow, and he's a big part of our defense, and it's going to be a big part of the next month, if we're going to reach our goals.
And we're going to have last question, Doug Lamery, Kings of Columbus.
Ryan, Camp Randall gets a little nuts there.
Yeah.
When you're going to a place like that, what's the biggest effect potentially on the football? Is it just like hearing your calls on offense? Yep. Is there emotion involved in it? Like, how can it affect you?
Yeah, all the above. And I think when you haven't done it before, it certainly is different. We have been in those environments. Our guys have been in those environments, but it doesn't mean it's easy. It's hard. communicating on offense. You just naturally feel the ebb and flows of the game, and that's part of it. I think the more you play, the more veteran you are, the less effect it has. But it's still always hard to go on the road and win games. And this is a place that I haven't played before, but I've heard so many people talk about the difficulty that it is, and the great fans that are there, and we know it's going to be that way, and that's what makes Big Ten football great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Josh, you good?
Hey, Josh, I'm going to stick you right there. We'll pull Kenyatta here in a second.
You good, Caden? To go?
No more of that edges.
That's Caden Curry on the middle 20.
Caden, is anything different click for you guys up front? It just seems like the pass rush is even more effective than it was earlier in the year. You guys are hitting the quarterback a little more than you were the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. I just think we're all getting more comfortable out there. We're all kind of trusting our moves now, and we're just playing free. Really just all playing with the motor under us, and we're just getting after it. Would you guys go back? Oh, my bad. Would you guys go back and watch the film of the game, like Penn State, where you all played really well? Do you give JT any extra flowers for kind of driving a first-round pick back into the quarterback a couple of times? Like, I know he's good, and you're not surprised by most of what he does, but it seemed like he had a pretty good day against a really good Buckeye. Yeah, I mean, you just look at JT's work ethic. I mean, it shows. That's why he shows up on Saturdays. I mean, he works really hard, and he's a great player, and I love being able to work with him every day and just seeing what he can teach me as a player and what I can just take from it. Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely he's playing at new atmospheres in places I've always wanted to play at growing up. Definitely it's very exciting. It's definitely really cool. I mean, definitely seeing all the fans and just having that atmosphere. It's really just a fun time.
How much is it a full factor that you were just talking about there a minute ago? Comfortable being on the field, and how much is it comfortable playing next to guys that you've been used to playing next to?
I mean, we've been doing it since spring with the whole D-line. I'm comfortable with every single player on the D-line playing next to them, and I feel like we're all just we all work together, and we're all just kind of playing with a kind of a free mind, and we're not really thinking about too much when we're out there besides just see ball, get ball, and I think that kind of shows how we're kind of getting more effective as the year goes on.
What's Lincoln been like on the scout team? What's it like dealing with him between holes?
I mean, he's a great player. Seeing him make plays every day. I mean, he's definitely getting better every day going against arguably one of the best defenses that we have. So, I mean, he's definitely getting better every day.
In the Notre Dame game, you and I didn't really see the field. It was mostly JT and Jack. And then, this past Saturday, you guys got a lot more usage in a game of a similar stature, if not bigger. What across the last 4 weeks has allowed you guys to get, more confidence from the staff, more playing time in such a big environment?
I mean, just showing it every day. We had to show in practice every day and show what we were capable of. And, I mean, hopefully I think that's just what they saw, that we were working our butts off to get out there. And, I mean, definitely showed.
As his defensive end classmate, where is Kenyatta taking the biggest strides this year?
I mean, his work ethic is just up there with JT. I mean, he loves the game. He loves his craft. And he just shows it every day. He's working really hard.
Then for you personally, where have you taken the biggest steps as the season has progressed?
Just working hard every day, getting those extra reps, getting out after practice, seeing what I can do to up my game, and just learning from my peers, really.
You talk about seeing what you can do to up your game. I guess what have you done?
Just working on my steps every day after practice, finding those little edge tips and those little tricks on film and stuff, and just seeing what can take me to the next step. Yep. Thank you.
Huddle. Sonny, take this one.
Thanks, kid. Are you gonna do the thing? Are you gonna say the line, Bart? Say the line. Go Birds. I haven't heard it all year. Lean into the mic.
I haven't done it in the live mic. It's too early to see it. Although they did get a big one this week. Kind of because lost. He was growing out his playoff hair.
Bring it up. Is that why you cut your hair? Yeah, no, I was painting that night. Oh, bad.
But you
Bill
were
just
too
drank
busy
it away.
watching games,
Yeah.
right? I didn't see it.
That hurt.
Bill, whatever your feelings at. Bring it.
Go Crew.
Bad.
Kyle, you're now 7 games into this. How do you feel you're progressing?
Yeah, obviously I feel like from week 1 to week 7, just looking at it kind of from a grand scheme of things, I feel like personally, I feel like I've just gotten more comfortable in the system, more comfortable in my leadership role, just more comfortable in all facets of the game. But at the same time, you know, as good as it is that we're 7-0, I feel like there's so much room for improvement for not only myself, but the offense and the team. And so I think that's exciting. And, you know, knowing that we got 2 top 10 wins and there's so much room for improvement.
It looked like there were a few throws on Saturday that you didn't put exactly where you wanted. Is that
Mhm.
fair assessment?
Yeah.
How hard are you on yourself when that happens?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, regardless of what any coach has to say, what, you know, anybody out in the outside world has to say, no one's going to be harder on myself than I am. You know, I'm my own biggest critic. And, you know, I know if this team is going to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, you know I have to take my game to the next level. And so, you know, I don't think that's a secret, you know, so I take it as a challenge every single day, just trying out to come and get better.
What does taking your game to the next level look like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a million different answers for that. I think the biggest thing playing quarterback here is just being a leader, getting all the guys on the same page, rallying the troops, you know, when things aren't going great and we're kind of spinning our tires, you know, getting guys going. But then I think just from, you know, performance standpoint, just putting points on the board for this offense and, you know, whatever I need to do, you know, whether that's standing in the pocket, making a throw, getting us into the right run check, you know, getting us in the right protection, whatever that is. And, you know, I feel like we're taking steps in the right direction, which is the good thing. But at the same time, you know, just continuing to get better off things like that.
The fumble you have in the game. Are you trying to pull that back? Did you double clutch because you saw the contact with Marvin on the field? I guess what happened in that play?
Yeah, so Marvin was really the first read on that play and obviously kind of got held up there. And so I got out of the pocket trying to extend it. And we were kind of on that fringe range. So I was trying to throw it away and avoid taking a sack because I feel like if we took a sack there, we'd probably be out of field goal range. So trying to save points. But, you know, I think I have to do a better job of getting rid of that ball earlier or, you know, if, you know, worse comes to worse, just taking a sack there and, you know, living with it rather than, you know, what could have been a touchdown for Penn State.
There was a play at Purdue where similar to what happened when you were going down and you tried to throw the ball away. I think your knee was ultimately down before you got rid of the ball. Anyways, I guess how much of a talk is there between you and Ryan about those plays maybe not happening?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's something that I need to eliminate, just plays like that. And, you know, I feel like sometimes, you know, if you make the play, everybody's happy, it's great. But at the same time, you kind of have to weigh the risk with the reward. And I feel like that's part of the game, but that's part of the game that I feel like I need to get better at and not putting the ball in harm's way. Because, you know, if we stay on schedule and, you know, if I took a sack there against Penn State, you know, it would have sucked in the moment, but, you know, they wouldn't have gotten a touchdown. You know, thankfully the refs saw the hold, but.
With Cardinal, he was the second most targeted receiver on Saturday, I think.
Mhm.
Behind Marvin and Cade, obviously. What goes into forming chemistry with a guy who comes 2 years after you?
Yeah, I think Carnell getting here in the spring helped myself a lot and helped him out a lot too. And, you know, he was advanced from the time he got here. You know, I think everybody saw that right from the jump. And, he had a really good spring ball and got some reps with the ones in spring ball, which helped out a lot. And then he, worked his tail off all off season and we got a bunch of reps, and then fall camp, the same thing. So I feel like we definitely made up for that lack of time together just this past 8 months, whatever it was. And then, he's just a tremendous player to be, 18 years old and to be able to step into a game like that and, play really well. And obviously you guys see my trust in him. I target him a few times. So, the future is beyond bright for Carnell.
Was there a moment in spring or fall where you're like, okay, this guy's going to be with the ones soon enough?
Yeah, I mean, really when Mech and Julian kind of decide they weren't going to get reps, I forget exactly the reason why in the spring. And then Carnell kind of stepped up into that role right away and did a really good job. And, I knew right kind of from that first day, just the way he carried himself, the way he ran his routes, the way he talked and saw the game, he was going to be one of them.
One more thing. What's it like throwing against Jermaine?
Yeah, Jermaine is he's probably one of the most competitive kids on the team. And when he got here, it didn't matter if he was going against Marvin or a freshman receiver, he was going to bring the same exact intensity, the same exact focus to every single rep. And that was really the first time I saw a young DB. It kind of reminded me of Denzel's freshman year when he started. He kind of his eyes lit up at the opportunity to play against good competition.
If you were coach, wouldn't that be what you want to see in a cornerback from the get-go?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think cornerback, you have to be a little bit crazy to play. Knowing that you're on an island one-on-one with the best athletes on the world, and it's your job to lock them down. That's tough to do. And, he plays with a bunch of confidence, plays a bunch of energy, so he's going to be really good.
What do you see from Wisconsin's defense? You may have answered this earlier before I got your comment. What just jumps out at you about the way they play?
Yeah, I think Coach Fickle's got them playing really well. And obviously he has a great track record regardless of where he's been. There's been a good defense there. And they're super well coached. You can see that on film. And they have a good scheme on top of that. And they play hard. That's the biggest thing. And, those guys bring it every single play. And that's noticeable in film. And so we know it's going to be a big test going out there on Saturday, 7:30 in a tough environment against a tough defense. So we know we've got our hands full.
Is that your perfect game, or whatever you want to call it, that's still eluding you guys offensively to a certain extent? Is that like a carrot for you guys? How would you explain it?
100%. I feel like everybody knows on offense that we really haven't put together a complete full game yet. And there's been times where we've been rolling and putting points up on the board. And, there's been times where we needed to have it and we did. But at the same time, I know that everybody in the offense can't say from quarter 1 to quarter 4 we put together a complete game. So that's still something that we're chasing for.
Last question. You need to understand when to just take a sack, when to try to make a play. Is that, for when you're new to this as a guy, typically been able to make those plays, and especially in high school, is that a difficult thing to try to develop and get inside your head? And sometimes you need to be able to take the sack and live to see another.
Yeah, I feel like, I said this earlier, it's just about weighing the risk with the reward. Obviously you want to scramble out of the pocket and make those big time plays and, extended plays and, continue to move the offense, put points up on the board. But, you can't put the team at risk, when you're trying to do that. And if the opportunity presents itself and it's clean, I think you have to take it. But at the same time, you just have to be smart about it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Where are you in that development versus when you first got here as a freshman to where you are now?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things to replicate in practice, because obviously the defense isn't really allowed to touch you or tackle you in practice, whatever. And then once you get in the game, I think you kind of have to just kind of see almost where you're at, in terms of, just making those plays. And, I think there's been times this year where I've done that. And then there's been times where, I should have been smarter and just taken a sack. So I think, right now I have a pretty good balance of where I am. I definitely think learned my lesson from last week and just have to continue to grow up on that.
So a lot of this is like
Last question for Bill.
just learning on the run, just like as you're going through this every week.
Yeah, no, I think that's, that the more reps I get, the more comfortable I am, the more I know, the more I see, just all that. I feel like in all assets of the game, just the more games I'm playing and the more just opportunity, the better. And so in terms of, what we were just talking about, I think that's just another asset of that.
Maybe kind of just answer it, but there's certain things you can't learn until you're in the fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is some specific things that you learned now through 7 games that, okay, I wouldn't have done this in August, and now I know better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of those things is like when, the offense isn't exactly moving the way you want, for regardless of what reason, being able to kind of rally the troops a little bit. And in practice, if you have a bad period, it's like, all right, kind of put that one behind us and move on to the next period. But that's not that way in the game. In the game, you have to play the next play, you have to play the next series. And I think, being the quarterback, it's extremely important to kind of get all those guys going, get them all on the same page. And, it's something you just can't replicate in practice. And so now I feel like in game 7, there's been a few of those moments where, we've just been frustrated for whatever reason. And, I've had to kind of step up and just kind of get the troops going a little bit. Thank you, guys.
We're done here. We're done. Last one's going to be over on that far side.
There's gonna be one.